Hi, this is Boris.
Patrick.
And
Brian, hello.
And we're having cocktails on the beach because it's early and why the hell not? We're in France.
Yeah. Why not?
Why not? So, what brings you to Cannes?
Well, we have a lot of clients here and wanted to get inspired by a lot of the creativity, and I was speaking a few times, so it was a very productive week.
So, who is your favorite, biggest client that you spoke to here?
Well, we've been doing some work with Intel, and I think they won a couple cans this year, so they're good people to hang out with, and I think they're just really creative, and the brand is obviously global, so it's always fun to be with them.
How much is Intel paying you?
I'll just say that they're a good partner. We like them. We like them a lot.
So, they're not paying you yet.
They are already, and we like them, and we want to continue doing more with them.
So, how much revenue is your company doing right now?
So this year we're going to do about 20 million, and we've been growing. Last year we did 14. I think in the ad tech space right now, it isn't exactly the easiest thing to grow, not just top line, but bottom line, right? I think profitability has become a very big focus for a lot of companies.
And for those who don't know, can you quickly pitch your company, like in 5 or... take as many seconds as you want, really.
Yeah, it's very simple. So KIIP is a rewards platform and mobile apps. So let's say you're in a fitness app and you finish a run. Instead of an ad, why not be rewarded by a brand? So imagine you finish a run and, Gatorade was there to reward you. So our whole premise is take things that people are doing actively and then find something relevant to give value back to them. Because I think advertising a lot of times doesn't give value back to you. It just takes your attention away. And I think that's something that we're trying to change.
Brian, back to the 20 million. Is that third-party revenue or your own?
That's our own, actually. Yeah.
Good for you.
So, you're the founder and CEO. I assume you were taking a shower and this idea popped in your head, right? How did it go?
So the idea came to me on a plane. I get a lot of ideas on planes, and I saw people on their phones playing a lot of games, and I saw the ad experience was subpar. And as an entrepreneur, you like to try to solve problems, right? I've never seen a person look at their phone and want to actually tap on a banner ad. And then so it struck me that there was an important opportunity to try to create something that people actually liked. And I think advertising has been going through a bit of a revolt from users, right? You see the ad blocking. People just don't want it in their lives. But then I think the solution is sometimes, when, let's say you're ignoring me, the reason the way advertisers have been evolving is let's just yell louder at you, right? And I said that's not the solution. We should change your approach. And they change the approach to something like, rewarding might actually be very valid.
It just occurred to me, like advertising people are like French people.
You didn't hear me.
I didn't say that.
Louder.
I didn't say that.
I think they're used to getting made fun of.
All right. It's time for a sip of a cocktail.
Okay, all right.
Because it's 10 in the morning and we might as well.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Mojito.
I think it's time for a card.
Okay.
Yeah, I have a question in between. What's the most embarrassing app on your phone?
Most embarrassing.
The one you're hiding from your girlfriend.
Oh, I mean, I don't have a girlfriend, and so it doesn't really matter. I mean, I have a lot.
Okay, how many dating apps do you have on your phone?
You'll see right here. 5.
Tinder, Hinge, Coffee,
Bagel. Coffee meets bagel.
Coffee Meets Bagel, 1010, and Bumble. Which one is most effective for you?
Tinder.
Tinder? Yeah.
Wait a minute, you got 34 notifications on 10.
Yeah.
Let's look at the notification.
1010 is Asia only, so it only applies to me when I'm back in Asia. So I'll check those notifications when I'm back in Asia.
But you do have a match on Tinder. So
I do. Yeah.
That's Laura.
No,
That's Sierra.
in a bunch here. Yeah.
Liz.
Oh, I just got a match.
Alicia.
Oh no, never mind. That was an accident.
She's got pink hair.
No.
Let's check
This
with
girl,
her.
this one's not an accident. This one's not an accident.
Oh, wow.
Is she here?
No, this was in New York. I'm just swiping ahead of time. Yeah.
Do you have a Tinder? Are you paying Tinder?
Yeah, I pay for the
So then you can time travel or something.
Yeah, you can travel other locations. Yeah.
Super useful.
Yeah, people. Okay, hold on. Let me just defend myself in case people are judging. Like, for someone who travels as much as me, it makes sense to be able to, meet people ahead of time, and then, you don't have to go to a bar and be inefficient about it. And in our generation, I'll admit it, we are terrified of being rejected. So you need an app to make sure that you're not being rejected, and so you can at least talk to someone who's not rejecting you.
But are you old enough to use Tinder?
I think I am. I just passed legal age. No, I'm 26 now.
26. Oh yeah, the first time we met, you were like 18 or something.
Yeah, exactly. And I still look it, but yeah, I've aged a bit numerically.
Okay. Well, we have some cards. You can pick one.
Not that
Ooh.
one.
What was the worst thing about your previous company?
The worst thing about your previous company.
Meaning the company I started or company I worked for?
Your
Well,
previous
the company I used to work for was Dig, if you guys remember.
Was the worst thing Kevin Rose?
No, I actually really like Kevin.
Yeah, me too. But
Yeah.
yeah, it would have been fun if you would have said it
That
was
would've been
Kevin.
pretty funny. No, I think honestly the worst thing was that it should have dominated. Dig should have won, and I feel really. I have a bunch of people that we used to work with. We still talk to each other. We're like, man, we were on a roll, right? Like we were doing some great stuff, and I mean, there's a whole bunch of reasons why it didn't work out, but it kind of is a shame. That's I think the worst thing is that it isn't still around in the way it used to be. You know what I mean?
Right.
The Dig community and how rabid they were, and the Dig Nation and that whole
Totally,
thing. It's now gone. But anyways.
So to dig deeper there, then, what's the worst thing about Kevin Rose?
Honestly, Kevin's one of those guys that it's really hard to not like him, right? Because he's very likable, right? You can't turn him away. I think one thing about Kevin was that he had a lot of things going on because he was such a lightning rod, right? Like people wanted to work with him on everything. So you guys remember that he had like, We Follow. He had the Oink. He had a whole bunch of other. He had a bunch of things that was going on. And I think, and I don't blame him because he was working on Dig for almost 7-8 years, and so he wanted to kind of try other things. But I think during that period of time, people lost the connection with the founder, and a lot of things happen when you lose that connection.
So it's a typical focus thing, you think?
I think it's a focus thing, and it is. Well, I mean, you also think about guys like Elon and Jack Dorsey that have somewhat done it okay. So it's not like it's a single reason. But I think the other thing is when you do have, it's okay to do other stuff. Is just make sure that the team you have in place in the interim is equally as equipped with your vision, right? And you can think about, there's no way Elon's running everything, right? There has to be other people that are working with him that are doing a good job. So I think it's about your team.
All right. You want to do another card?
Sure, why not?
Here we go. It's always exciting moments.
What is the stupidest thing you've ever did personally, professionally?
No, ever.
Can I be super honest?
Yes.
This was when I was 19. I was young, and first job is, and I can say it's now almost 8 years later, is making out with someone in your industry. In your industry, you just don't want to do it. You don't.
The whole industry is sort of off the books for you. Well,
Pretty much, yeah. You just can't. Like, I just think that it just makes it complicated, and you learn a few things. Like, it just makes things awkward, and you don't want to do that, right? And just avoid it, right? There's always gonna be people, and there's gonna be friends that you can always hang out with and do stuff with. Just don't do it with people you work with. Yeah. Like, that wasn't someone that I worked in my same company. It was in the same industry.
So if you have a Tinder match, is your first question, in what industry are you?
I usually do some research to see if they're in my industry. Yeah.
And do you have a person who does the research for you, or are you doing all the hard work yourself?
This has recently
This
been
focus
a
is
new.
important for an entrepreneur,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So-
This has been a new revelation, but I think there's a business to be had for people managing your Tinder account for you. I'm not saying that that's happening right now for me, but I've friends-
But it is happening.
It is happening. I have friends that have people who manage their Tinder accounts for them. Yeah, it's crazy.
That is very cool as
But it's
well.
great, it's very cool.
Very cool. Yeah, it's so cool. All right, last card.
Last card.
Okay.
Ooh.
How much are you worth on paper right now? Man, who comes up with these questions? Seriously.
How much are you worth on paper right now?
It depends on what type of paper you mean, like an actual bank draft or like.
No, I mean, how okay? Let me do the math for you. How much stock do you have in KIIP?
Percentage wise, it's something I haven't revealed at all publicly, so I prefer not to. But
This is not public. It's just between us.
It's just right off the record. It's fine.
I mean, you raised about 30 million
yeah,
in 6 or 7 rounds.
4 rounds.
4 rounds. Okay. So you still have about like 15%.
This guy's good.
Okay. So we can do the math. The last round was about 12 million, Series C.
Yeah, you have them. You have them numbers. Yeah, yeah.
Valuation, you do 20 million. The valuation was more than 100 million, I guess.
I'm not gonna confirm anything.
So
Let's put it this way. In all seriousness, this is a very interesting topic because I always tell founders when they're raising money, don't worry about that dilution. Obviously, if you're going to get diluted 50%, don't take the deal. But the only number that matters at the end of the day is your acquisition price. And you can own 80% of $1 million company, or you can own 5% of $1 billion company, right? So I think it's really focusing on that exit. So for me, it's like it's really kind of annoying, but it's also a good reminder that you need to realize that, right? It has to become real, and you can't just coast off of something that doesn't exist. And that's one thing in Silicon Valley that I think has to change. Is there's too many people that assume that paper wealth is real wealth, and it isn't. They're very, very different things. I tell you, in real life, and liquidity, as people know the concept, that is almost non-existent.
but you are taking the helicopter back to the airport, right?
You guys are awful. And I explained to you, this is also cost benefit. Let me defend it. It's 120 euros, and a cab is about 100 euros. And since I'm traveling alone,
The bus is €5.
I could do that too. I think I've earned the right to at least have a 5-minute commute versus an hour-long commute.
That's how you sell it to your shareholders,
Yeah, exactly.
or
Yeah,
investors.
yeah, exactly.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
It's always a pleasure to have you.
Always fun to hang out. Yeah, let's do this again.
Cheers.
All right, cheers. Cheers. Bam.
So we're now off record. So how much are you worth on tape?
Guys, that shit literally doesn't